So today we're going to make a glue up jig to make cutting boards. So I've got several cutting boards I'm making. I decided after the first one, I'm gonna make this jig to use for it. So what I'm gonna do now is I have a piece, this is some hardwood that came off a pallet. I've already straightened it up and squared it up on all the sides. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna cut a 1-inch dado, I'm sorry, 3/4 inch dado, 1 inch from the top all the way down this to slide into the bottom of my clamping jig. You'll see what I mean here in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut that on the table saw now. So this piece is gonna go on here just like so, and I've cleaned up that groove, and that's a pretty good fit. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and put some screws into the end of this. Actually, first I'll cut this to length, both of them. Put some screws in it to hold it along with some glue. So 27 inches is gonna be my final dimensions for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my melamine to final length. For this next part, I'm gonna mark starting at 1 inch every 3 inches. So I'm gonna 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, and 25. We're gonna go 1/2 inch down, and we're gonna make a mark to find, and this will be the center. All right, that's where the holes are gonna go for our T-nuts on the front or the inside. Now we need to go ahead and mark where the ones are gonna go for the top. Again, I'm gonna start here at the end. I'm gonna measure down 2.5 inches. Make a mark. And then we're gonna go every 5 inches from there. Now we need to put the T-nuts in. Since the glue is not going to stick this melamine, what I am going to do is put some glue in the bottom of this, because it'll stick to the edge where there's no edge banding at. I'm going to put a pretty good amount in this little track here, and they'll spread out, and whatever doesn't stick just doesn't stick. But I want to get good coverage on that bottom down there. I'm going to add some pressure with the clamp. Now we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side and glue and screw this in place. And to help hold it in place, we'll just put some clamps on it. Alright, now we're just going to set this aside and let it dry. We have the whole board assembled. Now we're ready to go ahead and drill our holes all the way through the melamine and our bottom brace board. I went back and added a bottom brace board on here off camera. Put glue, a couple brads, and 3 screws to hold it in place until I get these bolts in place. So I finished drilling my holes and all of the for all these bolts to go into, and now what I'm going to do is come back and I'm going to put flat washer on each of these, and then we'll put a lock washer and a nut on it, and go ahead and tighten it down. That should be tight enough. They don't have to be, I mean, I don't want to crush it down and break anything tight. I just want it to be tight enough that it's secure and holds everything together. This is the last piece of my melamine from my sheet I had. I'm going to cut this into 2.5 inch strips. Now I'm going to cut a little slot into these at 1 inch from each side. That's not a pretty cut, but that's okay, it don't have to be pretty. So here's the idea behind this thing. For me, is for gluing up cutting boards. So that's how it needs to be in here, right? So then we can take this little guy, put across this end, and you would have this. And so when you start tightening this side over here against the cutting board, it'll start squeezing that together. Then you can come in here and take shims and shim that up to hold it tight, to make sure it's flat. So you have 3 of them, so if I needed to, I could put one under each one, which that there is obviously too close together, but if I was doing a long glue up, maybe I'd want 3 of them spread out like this, or like this, or something like that, so we could do it, or I mean, you could probably even make it work where it's diagonal across here. That's the idea for these, and you can move them around to where you need them at. Then you'll just tighten up this side and get it against your boards, and it'll clamp on for you. And now these are pretty flat, I can tell by looking at them, but just to keep them from bowing up or anything during the glue process, I'm gonna go ahead and add this on here. That's gonna wrap up this project. Thanks again for checking this video out. Leave me comments and let me know what you think about it, and let me know what you would do different or what you would add to this. Thanks again for watching, and as always, y'all will see me next time. I would like to say a special thank you to Izzy Swan, the Midwest Man Mountain, and Dustin Penner for the inspiration to help make this project.